Hello everyone, myself Siddharth, and today we will be going through traditional methods of irrigation in Indian agriculture. So, a brief intro about irrigation and agriculture in India. Irrigation is nothing but artificial storage of water so that it can be used in the times of need, such as to grow the crops and plants in the farm or fields. And as you all know, India's major occupation is agriculture, wherein it employs around 45% of the population in agriculture. And the major source of water India depends on is the monsoon, and the fact that the monsoon water is available only for 4 months of the year, and the rest 8 months we have to depend on other sources of water. Irrigation plays an important role in agriculture in India. So irrigation has been being practiced in India since centuries, and there are four traditional methods of irrigation we can find, that is moat, chain pump, dekli and rahat. We will go through these methods one by one. So the first one is the moat. So moat is nothing but the pulley system, wherein there is a pulley and a rope. At one end of the rope, a bucket or a pot or a container for water is attached, and that is dropped into the well, and then the water is pulled up through the pulley system, and this is moat. And this we can see in many villages still. It is one of the traditional methods of irrigation. So advantages associated with moat method of irrigation is that it is very simple and cost effective, and very easy to set up and use. But there are disadvantages, as it is a very laborious method. It requires a lot of time and effort, and it is very insufficient for a field which is pretty large, and inefficient as well, as very small quantity of water can be pulled up in one cycle. mm, Going to the next method, that is chain pump. Here, as you can see, uh, there are two wheels and a chain is attached to the two wheels, and many buckets are attached to the chain. And as and when these wheels rotate, at one end of the wheel the empty buckets dip through the source and get filled, and at another end the water is emptied and deposited to a source, another source. So here in this chain pump method, the advantage is that it is a bit efficient than the moat method, as we have many buckets. The disadvantage associated with this chain pump is that it is still insufficient for a medium sized field. As such, the quantity of water which can be fetched through this method is still very small. And the next method is that of dekli. So dekli is similar to the moat method of irrigation, but here instead of a pulley and a rope, we use a long pole, as you can see here. And at one end of the pole, a rope and a bucket is attached so that it can go into the well and fetch water. And at the other end, a heavier object is attached so that it can counterbalance the weight of the water. And as and when we want the water from the well, this pole can be raised, and then the water can be fetched, and then it can be left so that the water bucket comes up. So the advantage here is that it is very easy to set up. It is similar to moat, no investment is required much. But the disadvantage is that it is still inefficient, as we saw in moat, and it is only applicable for shallow wells or big tanks which have a bigger diameter or which are wide enough so that the water can be fetched easily. Otherwise, the height of this rod supporting the pole has to be more, or the length of the pole has to be more. So this is the disadvantage and advantage of Dekli. So going to the next type of irrigation is Rahat. So Rahat irrigation is the one which uses animal labor. Here there are two things. One is the big wheel which is attached with buckets to fetch the water from the source, and adjacent to it there is a system set up wherein an oxen which is connected through a pole to the rod in the middle rotates around the rod in circular motion, and these two systems are connected through a lever. So as the oxen rotates in circular motion horizontally, the wheel rotates vertically, and the buckets attached to the wheel fetch the water from the source and deposit the water or empty the container as they come to other end, and this helps in getting the water from the source and one source and depositing the water to another source. So this is how it is working, Rahat. And the advantages of this system of irrigation is that no human energy or labor is used, animal labor is used, and we can increase the efficiency of this method by having multiple containers on attached onto the wheel, as you can see here. And the disadvantages associated with this is that it requires the maintenance of oxen or any animal, powerful animal, and yeah, so it requires the maintenance of animals is the disadvantage of this Rahat irrigation. So finally, as we saw, here are some practical image application images. So the first one here is the method of Rahat, wherein there are two oxens which are rotating horizontally on the field, and adjacent to it there is one big wheel which is rotating vertically. And this is the Dhekli method. There is a long pole at one end, there is bucket attached, and there is a well here, and at the other end there is heavy object to counterbalance the weight of the water at the other end. And the third one here is the first method we saw, that is the moat. There is a pulley system and a rope, and the farmer is fetching the water from the well and depositing it into the field. And the fourth method is the chain pump, wherein there are many buckets attached and there are two wheels. The buckets are attached to the chain. So these were the four methods of traditional irrigation: moat, chain pump, Rahat, and Dhekli methods. Thank you.